Greetings YouTubers, and welcome to what will be a quick lap guide for the Group 2s at Zandvoort Club race, the one of the rookie races for this week. Now, the more eagle-eyed of you will of course have noticed that what you're seeing right now isn't Zandvoort, it's Brands Hatch, which is fine, don't worry, it's just a little background video. First of all, I would like to say I am not, despite what people might think, a particularly fast racer. I am mid-pack at best, so whatever I say, don't take it as gospel, and please do try to experiment with whatever techniques you can come up with. I'm sure a lot of you will be a lot faster than I am. Second thing to discuss before we look at the lap is the car itself. Now, first of all, it's a pretty old car and uses pretty old tires, which means that for the first 2, maybe 3 laps, you will not get good lap times. You simply have no grip until you get some heat into those tires. And if you're looking at the tire temps, don't worry about the rear wheels. They will never ever get hot. It's a front wheel drive. I'm trying to say. And everything depends on the front wheels for steering, turning, and braking, and the rear wheels are just, getting pulled along. Second thing to mention about it is it's extremely easy to drive. It's hard to drive fast, but you can really mistreat this car, and it'll still forgive you. And it's almost impossible to spin it, but if you do start to spin, just remember it's a front wheel drive. Just point the front wheels in the direction you want to go and floor the accelerator, and the car will simply pull itself out of it. Final thing about the car is it's pretty low power, so you can't treat it like you would for a single seater or a GT3 or something, where you can just power yourself out of problems. The whole key to driving this thing fast is keeping it rolling. It's a momentum car. You have to keep the speed up for as much as possible. You can't just hammer the brakes into a corner and then try to accelerate out a bit, because it simply doesn't have the power to do so. And speaking of the brakes, do not forget, this thing does not have ABS. Now, a common misconception is that cars without ABS can't brake hard. They can, but what you can't do is slam on the brakes. You can't just whack your whole body weight down on the brake pedal and hope that everything will turn out. You can actually brake pretty hard in these things, but you have to roll your foot onto the brake. Gradual pressure, and I don't mean by gradual, I don't mean it, over 5 seconds or so, but just roll your foot instead of stomping it, and you'll do absolutely fine. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at a lap. So, coming out of the final corner from the previous lap, it's all about maintaining speed down the front straight, which probably doesn't come as a surprise to anybody, but let's see what happens next. Now, depending on how you good are with your brakes, your braking point is around the 100, somewhere between around the 100-meter mark and that timing line. If you're very good at the brakes, you can actually hit your brakes right at the timing line. If you can't, just back it off a little bit. You don't have to. Turn 1 isn't actually all that important for your overall lap time. Just remember, keep all the way to your left and pick a braking point somewhere between the 100-meter sign and that timing line. Down into third and start turning in. What you do not want to do is touch that inner curb here. First of all, the road here is banked to the inside of the corner. So if you put one side of your car onto that curb, you suddenly lose all that banking to your advantage. Second of all, when you exit the corner, if you're on that bank, the bank will simply spit you out into the gravel on the exit. But stay in third gear to start with. If you have the capabilities. It can be a little tricky depending on where your shifter or pedals or whatever your user is. You want to go into second for the exit, simply to get a decent drive out of it. But you do not want to start. You do not want to break into second gear for the entry for the corner. That's simply you lose a lot of time. So if the mid corner downshift is too tricky or whatever, just stay in third and sacrifice some of that to the drive out the corner. It is much faster than breaking into second for the start of the corner. But again, keep away from that inside curb. You do not want to be friends with that curb. And in this particular case, I managed to actually shift down into second, so you can get a drive out of the corner. If you stay in third, just follow the tire marks around the corner and just power out on the way out to the left, and then stay to the left. See that sign there? That's almost your brake marker. It's a little it's a little past, and I don't have an accurate brake marker that I use, but I know as soon as that sign disappears outside my left side window, then it's probably time to hit the brakes. You do not have to hit them fairly hard. If looking at and down, oh crap, I can't talk. If you look at the bottom down right hand corner, that's what I'm trying to say, I think. You can see my pedal inputs, and it's only about half before let go again. All you need to do is slow it down enough to make the turn. And again, don't touch that inside curve. The car does not like it. It'll simply spit you out into the opposite wall. Into the apex. Go left. Whoa! And my video is going mad. What the hell happened there? Hang on, let me try that again. There we go. Breaking in for the hairpin is actually this is pro screaming, you know. See that curb? Where it ends, and the distance between where that curb ends and the where the corner begins, about halfway through, you give the brakes another little squeeze. Again, don't stomp them. It doesn't have ABS. Just squeeze them, get it into second gear, and you hit that. You simply take the line and hug that inside curb like it was your favorite granny. And if you're in doubt about when you can get back on the power, see that yellow crane? As soon as the middle of your car has passed that, that's when you get back on the power. And I do mean full throttle. You can't spin this. It's front wheel drive and it's low power, so just floor it. Again, all the way out, and then all the way to the other side. Breaking point for this one is that edge there, the final of the big black signs, and you don't need much, just a quick tap of the brakes. Precisely how much you need a little experience. It all depends on how your brakes are set up, for example. But you get all the way to the outside. Tap the brake when you hit that, when you hit the edge of the signs, and again just turn in. And again, you do not want to touch that curb. You do not want to unsettle the car. Just hit it and try to stay as close to it as possible. And what you're aiming for is this point over here. You need to get all the way to the outside. Because if you don't, the next corner is going to be a son of a bitch. Stay to the outside. And once you pass that 50 meter mark, another quick tap of the brakes, but stay in third. If you try to brake into second, granted, yes, you will get more drive out of the corner, but you're going to have to brake again in about 10 meters, so it doesn't really matter. What you need to do is stay in third and just roll through the corner. And what you're aiming for, if you can see it with all this crackling, is this point right here, right before the left-hand curbing starts for the next corner. That's when you give the brakes another little tap and down into second. And as soon as you're past that circular bit on the inside, that's when you can just floor it, and it'll just put itself out of the corner once more. And all the way to the outside. Now this next turn, the penultimate turn, is actually fairly tricky and one that I screw up quite often. So the brake marker is out here on your right. At the ending of that red bit, that's your brake marker. But you do not turn in right away. If you try to turn in right away after you've slammed on the brakes, you're going to run out of road. You need to turn in a fair bit later than you actually think. So again, if we take the distance from where our braking point is, you can just see the red edge of the fence has disappeared, and I've started to brake. That curb on your left, if you start to turn in there, then you're too late. You need it's somewhere in the middle when you start to turn in, and exactly where it is, I'm not entirely sure, which is one of the reasons I keep screwing up in this corner. But again, all the way to the outside for the turn in and hit the apex, and just power through again all the way to the outside. And again, the last corner is I won't say it's tricky, but it's fairly deceiving. You need to get all the way to over here before you start turning in, and what your goal is, see that curve there? Your goal is to just graze the beginning of that curve. And in this case, if you look at my tires, my front left is pretty much shut, so I don't have almost that much grip. So I have to modulate the throttle. I just have to give this tiny little lifts. But now we are at the apex. We have hit the inside of the curve right where it begins, and now you can just floor it and gain as much speed as you can. And back on the straights, and that's a 114 flat. Not too shabby, not my best, but it's not too shabby. So with that in mind, let's just get a quick run through from. So, maximum degree speed down the straight. Remember, your braking point is somewhere between the 100 meter mark and the timing line, depending on how good you are with your brakes. So, hard braking into third, roll it into second to get us some drive out of the corner, and all the way to the outside again. Quick left after the sign brake, turn in all the way in to the outside of the corner, midway, stumble the brakes into second, watch for the crane, we are past, full power, again all the way to the outside, use all the track you possibly can. Back to the left, see the signs, quick tap into third, and hark that inside line without hitting the curb, which I obviously did. Again, all the way to the left, open that corner up, into third, roll it through, brake into second, full power once you hit that circle curb. And again, watch the sign on the right, turn in into the apex, all the way out again, and turn in a little bit later than you think. Modulate the throttle if you can't hit it, and don't worry if you run a bit wide on that part. It doesn't cost you all that much, and the dirt should have disappeared by the time you hit the next corner. But that's basically it, and hopefully it'll help you. If not, well, you've just wasted about 5 minutes of your life. See you on track, guys.